Bing bong, you know what it is. It's that Pritty Left Hook, and it's your guy, Rhett Butler. And welcome to 2022. We here now. And boxing has already started. King Kong, Luis Ortiz, Charles Martin. It went down in Hollywood, Florida. I'm going to tell you what was so crazy about the situation, right? First of all, this was an IBF title heavyweight eliminator. Let's put that out there first. We know the heavyweight division now, I'm not going to say it's in shambles, but we know it's a whole nother game. Before 2021, right? First 3 quarters of the year, let's say. We had Tyson Fury. We had Anthony Joshua. I'm going to rephrase that because Anthony Joshua was the man on top of the mountain with like 3 belts. We had Tyson Fury who took Deontay's belt, the WBC, plus he had the ring title. And that was kind of the game, right? And then it was Deontay Wilder trying to get back to get to Tyson Fury and then eventually get to Anthony Joshua. And it was going to be, boom, America, boom, UK, right? Tyson Fury spoiled that. Then we was looking at UK versus UK, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. But then a guy coming way out of the jungles of the Ukraine. And when I say jungles, I mean a lot of snow and a lot of mountains. Came to goddamn O2 Arena in London, and by George, he beat Anthony Joshua's ass. And he took all of Anthony Joshua's jewelry. Now, I'm going to tell you why this was monumental. Alexander Usyk is not a true heavyweight fighter. Let me say that again. Alexander Usyk is not a true heavyweight fighter. This man is a cruiserweight. This man did his thing in the cruiserweight division, as a matter of fact. We're going to get you some facts. Okay? This man had all the belts in the cruiserweight division. This man went goddamn undisputed in the cruiserweight division. And you know what he said he was going to do after he got all the belts, which not many people have done, by the way, in the cruiserweight division. You know, Bernard Hopkins did it. We know a couple people did it. This man went and said, now I'm going to go heavyweight and challenge the big boys. And when he did that, mind you, Usyk got a gold medal, so let's not be surprised that he's successful. He went and took on Anthony Joshua in his hometown in the biggest arena in London. I've been there. The O2 Arena is like Madison Square Garden for America, or formerly the Staples Center, now crypto.com, which is super ironic. Shout out to all of that. Shout out to Nipsey. But he went to the O2 Arena in London and beat Anthony Joshua's ass. I'm talking about he handed him his ass. Pause. Not one round in that fight, and it went a full 12. Did Anthony Joshua really hold it down, right? He was there, did his thing, but he was looking a little hesitant, and Alexander Usyk was looking 100% like a bigger version of Lomachenko. He was just doing what he always does. This man's a problem. If you don't know boxing, you probably never heard of this man because he's only known to the diehards, really. But now you know him, right? He gave Anthony Joshua the business. Yes, there was an automatic rematch clause. Yes, they're going to fight sometime in 2022. But right now, Alexander Usyk just disrupted the game in the same way that George Kambosos disrupted the lightweight party for Teofimo Lopez. So now we got Alexander Usyk here. And now we got guys vying to get to those top spots because we know that after that trilogy, Tyson Fury's not dealing with Deontay Wilder no more. So Deontay got to go try to get it another way right now, right? But Anthony Joshua, Alexander Usyk, top of the heavyweight division. Tyson Fury waiting in the wings to figure out who's next. So beneath all of that, we have Luis King Kong Ortiz and Charles the Prince Martin fighting for the IBF title eliminator, which Alexander Usyk has the IBF belt as a heavyweight. And these two guys fought in Florida for that belt. Now, for those who don't know, Luis King Kong Ortiz and Charles Martin, the Prince, are both signed with Premier Boxing Champions. Al Heyman is their advisor, all that good stuff. So this was an easy fight for them to make. But the big deal was seeing how they was going to slug it out. Charles Martin is known a bit as a journeyman. King Kong is known as a guy that's been to the top of the mountain, so to speak. Never got all the way to title, but he's always fought the biggest and the best on some level, right? So now this was him more proving that he's stepping up to bigger levels and that he's ready to take on the champion, so to speak. So the fight was crazy. We're talking about Charles Martin looked great. Now, for those who know Charles Martin, up and down fighter. You know what I'm saying? I hate to call him a journeyman, but he's been kind of that on the low. But He's around. He's a staple. He's a staple in the situation for the heavyweights, right? Kind of like a Dominic Brazil. He's around. He's always going to get the big fights. He's rolling without Heyman. But in this fight, he actually came. He showed up. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He's never a slouch, but he showed up. He knocked down Luis Ortiz twice, once in the first round. In the first round, crazy. 2 knockouts in a fight. Let me tell you something. You better knock somebody out if you get knocked down 2 times in a fight. But guess what? Luis King Kong Ortiz came back 6th round. Not only did he knock Charles Martin out, he gave him a standing knockout. Boy was out on his feet to the point where, honestly, this makes you really want to look at your judging differently, because the referee and all the officiants, they should have been stopped the joint once Charles Martin visibly was dazed on his feet. And make no mistake, in the 6th round, when Charles Martin was catching those lefts and those rights, and he definitely caught that pretty left hook, his eyes were glazed. He didn't know where he was at. He wasn't even facing his opponent. He was looking this way when the punches was coming this way. And the referee didn't stop it. The referee actually waited till he got tagged a few more times and was hanging on to the ropes for life. Pause. Then stopped the fight. Interestingly, King Kong now obviously is the IBF mandatory. Now he's looking to get up in the situation to figure out who's next for him. But Charles Martin, who now is, again, still on the same level he was probably at before as a journeyman, really, to be honest, he has a case against Florida Athletic Commission, because the way that knockout happened, I mean, nobody wants to relive a knockout, but the way it happened, fighter safety, all the CTE that's going on right now, really that was a bad look. So we got to keep it a buck. We got to hold people accountable for this stuff, right? Because the way Charles Martin was knocked out, he should have been saved him some punishment, even though, to the referee's credit, because Charles already knocked King Kong down twice in the fight, he might have thought, oh, he's going to come back from this the way King Kong did. But alas, no. Charles got stunned. It was real. And, at the end of the day, I'm happy for that, for King Kong. I don't like the fact that Charles Martin, caught an unnecessary super knockout, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could have been saved a little earlier. But at the same time, this is boxing. It was what it was. It went what it went. And we saw some great heavyweight action literally at the start of the year. And that's awesome. That's always something to be thankful for. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to both of them, 2 warriors. Got it in down bottom in the South, and they made it happen. And that's official. That's official. We also know that one of Errol Spence's fighters did his thing as well, and that was crazy. I think his name was Frank Martin. So we're gonna be looking out for Frank Martin as well. We know he did his thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, what I really want to talk about is this upcoming bout against Errol Spence and Yordenis Ugas. Now, they haven't announced really when that fight's gonna happen. But what I do know is y'all need to put some goddamn respect on Yordenis Ugas' name, B. This is getting a little ridiculous. I know he ain't got the eyebrows and everything, but you know what I mean? He's an island boy. He got alopecia, man. Let that man go. Let that man go. But y'all acting like he didn't beat Pacquiao. Now I know what you're gonna tell me. Already, he beat an older Pacquiao, past his prime, blah. It was still Pacquiao, B. Pacquiao beat Adrian Broner. I'm gonna always bring this up. Pacquiao beat Keith Thurman. I'm going to always bring this up because y'all want to age Pacquiao, but y'all don't want to age the young boys that he fought and beat. You know what I'm saying? Then when Yordenis Ugas comes, we know he ain't got no eyebrows. He got alopecia. But y'all don't want to give him the respect. Does he need to draw some eyebrows on so y'all can understand this man has hands? Yes, I know you want to see Terence Crawford fight Errol Spence. I know. I promise it's probably going to happen at some point in 2023. I hate to disappoint you. But at the end of the day, maybe possibly 2022. I don't want to hurt you that bad. But at the end of the day, Yordenis Ugas is in the building. He got a belt. He took the belt from Pacquiao. Okay? The welterweight division needs a Yordenis Ugas with Pacquiao retiring. Clearly, Mayweather been retired outside of his exhibition free bank robbery that he's doing. That's just free bread. But you got Errol, you got Terence, now you got Yordenis Ugas. Sean Porter just retired. Keith Thurman's on the mend and coming back now, I believe, in February. We need names and bodies, homie. Yordenis Ugas is where we at right now. Y'all acting like this man is not a real challenge for Errol Spence Jr. just because Terence Crawford is so formidable. So let me stop you right there. Yordenis Ugas is official. This man's an Olympian. This man is a Cuban fighter. He lives in Florida now. If you don't understand Cuban fighters are always been the boogeyman in any division. Cuban fighters don't play no games. They're about that action. And somebody like Errol Spence needs somebody that's going to push him. And for somebody like Yordenis Ugas, who just beat Pacquiao and has nothing to lose really, because even though he's a champ, he wasn't expected to be the champ. It's a big move for him to fight Errol Spence Jr. So, look forward in 2022 to seeing Errol Spence fighting Yordenis Ugas. Put some respect on that man's name. All right? Go get you some arroz con pollo, some arroz y gandules, whatever you need to do to feel right in the culture. You need to give my man the love he deserves, because at the end of the day, that fight's going to be epic. I don't know who's going to win. Of course, the betting odds are going to be Errol Spence, but Yordenis Ugas is nice. Don't get it twisted. That's going to be a major key. What we want to talk about next coming up is how Jake Paul is thoroughly disrespecting everybody in boxing, thoroughly disrespecting everybody in MMA. And I'm not going to lie, I'm here for all of it, yo. Salute to this man, Jake Paul. Yo, this man, Jake Paul, is a wild boy, man. He knocks out Tyron Woodley, right? He wasn't satisfied with the first fight, so he knocked him out in the second fight. Got him. Did his thing. Clean, too. Clean right hook. Then, after he wins, he basically says, look, I'm trying to set it on everybody. I'm trying to set it on Canelo Alvarez, Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, and I think he even said Tyson Fury, and then he said Dana White. This man is not even a boxer. We're talking about Dana White, the president of the UFC. He wants to fight him. Now, if you haven't been paying attention to the male melodrama, Dana White and Jake Paul have been beefing for a minute over fighter pay. To Jake Paul's credit, he's now turned from the heel to the fighter advocate. This is why I like what this guy's doing right now. Like, y'all know, if y'all know me, y'all follow Pritty Left Hook, you know that I've been a little critical of Jake Paul because I just felt like he skipped the line, right? I still respect the Golden Gloves. I still respect the amateur ranks. I still respect fighters that come up from babies into becoming champions. Jake Paul went straight to social media and from there straight to Showtime. Not mad at you, by the way. Got the bag. I mean, he went to DAZN first, then Showtime. Not mad at you, by the way. But the problem is that once we got out of the sports entertainment and into calling this actual sports, I just felt like it was a little disrespectful. It's a little disrespectful for people that put all the time in. But we can't deny what this man has been doing. You can say whatever you want about his opponents. At the end of the day, he's knocking them all out. But more than that, Jake Paul is responsible now for the financial rise of Amanda Serrano. Now, for all who don't know, Amanda Serrano is the other GOAT, just like Clarissa Shields. She deserves all her flowers right now. Shorty's a problem. Puerto Rico from Brooklyn. Crazy with it. Her sister's nice too. She never gets the paper and the respect that she deserves. Jake Paul is fixing all of that. Put Shorty as the co-main event for all his fights and make sure that she gets all her flowers today. So I'm saying that to say when all those things happen, you got to respect her for who she is and for what he's doing. However, now he's stepping into the territory of advocacy. He's constantly calling out the fact that Dana White doesn't pay his fighters a lot of money. By boxing standards, it's not. I think Jake Paul made $2 million his last fight. Well, for Tyron Woodley, his last opponent, who's a UFC champion, that was his first like flat $2 million purse ever. And he had to go to boxing to get it. So Jake Paul has a point, right? Tyron was a former champion, only fighting on pay-per-view. But now Jake Paul's bringing it straight to Dana White. First, he said, Dana White, I think you on cocaine. He said, I'm in love with the cocoa. Called Dana out. We don't know if this is true. This is all allegedly. Dana White then shot right back. Bang. Bing bong. He said, yo, go see USADA because I think you hitting the juice, boy. Dana White thinks that Jake Paul's hitting the juice. Now, there's been little rumors here and there from people hating on Jake Paul saying he doesn't get tested like every other fighter for his fights and all of that. And that might be accurate. Dana thinks he's on the juice. So you know what Jake Paul did, which I got to give him a super salute for because this was super ballsy, pause. He said, yo, Dana, how about this? I'll quit boxing. I'll leave the game. I'll retire if you pay your fighters more money, give them, I think he said 50% rev share of UFC's gross. That's a lot of paper. I think they made $1 billion last year. And something else about fighters' rights, like letting them do what they want or have more freedom in their contracts, like things that will allow them to basically feel a lot more liberated than they are now. And, of course, Dana White wasn't with it, but you got to give Jake Paul props because instead of just playing the cheap fight hype role, he's actually asking for real things. UFC fighters have been asking for more rights for a long time from the UFC. When you look at Bellator MMA, which if the UFC's Coke, Bellator's Pepsi, Bellator lets fighters still get their own sponsorships. They're not locked into a certain clothing deal. Bellator lets their fighters move a little more freely, not locked in so heavily, move around. Whereas once people hit the UFC, even though that's the pinnacle of the game, your mobility is a little stunted and your ability to kind of get another bag gets a little slighted as well. So to that end, we got to say Jake Paul has a big point. Now, Jake Paul did say if Dana White does all these things, he will retire from boxing and he will actually go to MMA and fight George Masvidal, Street Jesus as he calls himself, in the octagon and do an MMA fight because, of course, after the Tyron Woodley fight, Masvidal called out Jake Paul, former teammate, now they're rivals on social media. We sure that's about the bag as well. But at the end of the day, I got to give Jake Paul a lot of props. He's coming in. He's acting as a super disruptor. It's a super disruptor. The guy comes in. He tells you ain't shit. He then tells you how to pay people better. He then makes money, pays everybody. Like, the guy's nice. Like I said, he gave Tyron a Rolly. I'm not even mad at this. Like, this is the guy you're fighting. Give him a Rolly and $2 million to fight you. Yeah, you caught a night. Yo, he came up. I mean, the wake up was good money. You feel me? So we can't be mad at a guy like Jake Paul, even though he didn't go through the same ranks. I don't like him talking about Clarissa Shields. That's my peoples. I fuck with Clarissa. But at the same time, we got to give Jake Paul props for doing what? Being independent enough to bring it to people like Dana White, who, even though it's a business, it's corporate, has a bully stance to him. You know what I'm saying? He's always talking shit about fighters and press conferences. Whenever he feels some type of way, he gets a little emotional. He's a little Jim Jonesy. But Jake Paul doesn't care, right? On top of that, Jake Paul has inside information because Jake Paul's manager, I believe his name is Nikisa, he used to work for the UFC as an accountant or as an attorney, one of the two. So Nikisa and Jake Paul are like on a crusade right now. This is a straight crusade, right? They made their own deal. They're putting MMA fighters that used to work for the UFC against Jake Paul. Yeah, he's making them go night-night, but they're getting bread. They're getting bigger names, bigger opportunities. Tyron fought Jake Paul twice in 1 year, and I think he walked away with like $4 million. If Tyron fought twice in the UFC, he might not even crack the mill. I can't speak on that. Tyron, you my man. I'm not trying to play your paper. But at the end of the day, these were two quick jump starts. I'm sure Tyron's like, shout out to Tommy Fury for catching the rib break, which tapped you in. But guess what? Jake Paul's changing lives, man. This guy's not even in the fight business for real. He put himself in the fight game and he's changing lives like immediately. For that alone, we got to get this man respect and props. Respect and props. Yeah, we know he's about the shenanigans. Yeah, we know he's going to do the gotcha hat and all of this weirdo shit. It is what it is. Personally, I think Jake Paul's doing a goddamn good job. He's selling tickets. He's keeping us interested. And more than anything, he's stepping to whoever wants it. Business and fights. I know what you're going to say. Oh, Rhett, Jake needs to fight somebody else that is really a boxer and blah, blah. Yeah, he tried to with the Tommy Fury situation. So let's not say that it's his fault. It's not. Jake was ready. So he tried. So we got to stop that now. I'm going to give it to him. And more than that, he's calling out Canelo. He's calling out Mike Tyson. He's calling out Floyd. He's calling out everybody. So it is what it is. But the one thing I will say, though, he has a brother named Logan Paul. And Logan Paul right now is saying that Floyd Mayweather didn't pay him for the exhibition bout in Florida last June. Look, he's gone as far as calling Floyd a weasel. Jake Paul then piggybacked off that and said he's going to save Mayweather Promotions from bankruptcy. There's a lot going on. These guys, you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. Do we think Mayweather Promotions is going bankrupt? Absolutely not. We can look at Tank Davis's whole career and see that that's a fallacy, false, negative. We could look at Floyd, who just literally went to Dubai to announce that he's going to jump back in the ring and do an exhibition match at some point in Dubai, in the UAE. Floyd picks up money everywhere you go. He's Money Mayweather. He has the money. Last time I checked, if I don't know if Logan Paul is talking about his pay-per-view money, but last time I checked, when a fighter steps in a ring, the money that he's supposed to get for his purse is an escrow, and when it's over, in the backstage, they give the fighter the check. The check is held by the athletic commission for that fighter was in Florida. They're not going to change the rules. These rules have been in place for years, so nobody runs out the door with the fighter's bread. So I don't know what Logan Paul's really talking about. I think what he's talking about is the reported million pay-per-views sold, which I believe equated to $50 million. And I think he got 10% of that. So I think he's supposed to get $5 million. Now, if that's what Logan Paul's talking about, Floyd owes him, I think you're talking about the wrong person, my brother. I think his name is Steven Espinoza, Showtime Sports. Because last time I checked, Floyd don't own no networks. Again, I don't know your deal. And to be honest, you might be snitching on Floyd's power over you. Because if Floyd's the one executing how you get paid off pay-per-view, I don't know, my brother. Y'all talk a lot of trash about being on top of your money. That sounds like, he's got you on the AB, whole lot of money, and you got to see Daddy Floyd for that bag. That's not a good look because, y'all be a little disrespectful on the internets. Floyd might be playing with you while he's in Dubai kicking it at Burj Khalifa and all that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we still got to give the Paul brothers props, specifically Jake Paul. I feel you, Logan Paul, but Jake Paul's crushing. But I will say this about Logan Paul. Logan Paul, on December the 4th, is going to be announcing his fight against KSI, another social media guy, but just the guy that beat Logan Paul, I believe, twice. That's going to be their trilogy fight. I mean, the fact that we're even saying the word trilogy for some YouTubers is absolutely amazing. But we are in 2022, and we're in a world where Jake Paul usurped the game, and Logan Paul for that matter, because he did fight Floyd Mayweather. So the game is getting crazy. I mean, of course, we got crazy big fights coming up. Of course, Clarissa Shields' fight got pushed back, and I think it's going to get pushed back again because of some COVID situations in the UK. But we know Clarissa got a fight coming up against Emma Kozin at some point. We know she or either her or Amanda Serrano trying to line up Katie Taylor. So everybody's focused on the UKs right now. Like, UK right now is bubbling for fighting. You know what I'm saying? It's like what Canada used to be for the UFC and for MMA. You know what I'm saying? When Sam Stout and Mark Hominick and all these cats was over there, and George St. Pierre, of course, was doing big things for the whole country of Canada. Now you got the UK over here bubbling with boxing. It's going down. I mean, it was always like that. Of course, shout out to Lennox Lewis. Shout out to Joe Calzaghe. Shout out to everybody from the UK with that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, now, it's even crazier. You know what I'm saying? Because the girls are getting it lit. And, of course, the big boys, the heavyweights, they going bananas in the game right now. So right now, 2022 is looking real crazy for boxing. Like I said, stop hating on my man Yordenis Ugas. Yeah, we know he ain't got no eyebrows, but just give an alopecia man a chance. And stop thinking Errol Spence is about to steamroll over everybody not named Terence Crawford. We don't know this yet, man. Never forget, Sean Porter lost to Errol Spence on a split decision. So stop playing games just because he got tooled up by Terence. You feel me? Errol can be touched. Not saying that he's vulnerable, but let's not shit on people just because, you think they're unknown quantity and you're waiting for the two names in the division, in the welterweight division, to face off. We have no idea what's about to happen here. Boxing is back. 2022 is in full effect. This is the Pritty Left Hook. My name is Rhett Butler. Check out everything we do over at Up On Game Network. Shout out to LeVar Arrington, the king of the mammals himself. And listen, check out my stuff every day on theshadowleague.com. We out here, baby. Everything is working. And bing bong is boxing all day. Got him. Peace.
I want to love you. Pretty left hook.